A couple of days ago I had a pretty satisfactory Hawaiian baby Woodrose experience. I'd tried these things a few times, with good results, but an increasing amount of nausea and disgusting taste each time. This time I wanted to thoroughly minimize that bastard nausea, and try extraction rather than chewing, eating. My friend and I spent a whole afternoon preparing, to ensure a good experience. We met after a light lunch, and ground up 12 clean seeds each in a coffee grinder, placing the resulting powder into 2 bottles of cold water. The water almost immediately turned black, which we took to mean high potency. We shook the mixtures, then left them a few hours. Half an hour before ingestion we took 3 sickness pills each and smoked a joint of hash, for nausea reduction purposes. Then we filtered out most of the muck with coffee filter paper, and drank casually. Within a few minutes an uncomfortable feeling began, throughout the stomach and body, eventually reaching severe nausea. My friend kept it all down, but I couldn't. At the same time, things became intense, physical stimuli became intrusive. My friend had drank about 20 minutes before me and seemed to be getting past it. I was still very nauseous and uncomfortable, feeling like I'd messed up. We were both burping quite a lot. We went to a sit in a park and I tried to ride this bit out. I felt major anxiety, the makings of a bad trip. Sounds were intrusive, and my vision was blurry, like being drunk. My lips felt swollen and numb, sort of anesthetized, maybe due to reduced circulation. We both had strange physical feelings like distortions, swellings in our limbs. The trip came on much faster than eating raw seeds. It was very downer-like, and sedating, which helped me calm down and begin to enjoy the trip, great relief. The setting became relaxing, with a nice cool breeze setting off pleasurable relaxing sensations in my body, just by listening to it up in the trees. This was odd, since part of me was still nervous and nauseated. It was like experiencing opposite feelings, emotions simultaneously. My friends joined us and sat around sniffing amyl nitrate and having an animated conversation. This was a reassuring sight, although when we were actually spoken to it was a bit too puzzling and intimidating. I became quite giggly and forgetful. My initial paranoia when I met them had gone too. I had cooled quite a bit and needed to borrow a warm coat, also good for comforting. My friends were vital to be around, as something to focus on, and they helped us a lot. We were both experiencing very vivid feelings of being someplace else whilst still watching our friends in the park. For example, my friend felt as if he was on holiday in Germany, and I felt as if I was sitting in the garden of a friend's house. He could also see patterns appearing in things like the grass. Familiar people seemed caricature, people seemed smaller, and there was a general tone of gray over the world. My friend also noticed this. Linear time became hard to perceive. First time sped up considerably. The first 2 hours went by in about 30 minutes. As we got to the peak it began slowing down and by the end it was crawling along. There was a feeling of being far from recent events and even isolated from normal life. Our minds were a bit volatile so we didn't have to concentrate on anything for too long. It was pleasant and carefree, and certainly helped prevent freakouts. An overall sense of positivity prevailed. We lay in the grass, and my friend felt he was drawn in by nature. There were definitely some kind of calm natural feelings. However, there was also a strange, dirty, buzz feeling hanging over the trip, a kind of impure feeling. At times it was like a cannabis high but with a dirty, psychedelic extension to it. I feel that this stopped me from really reaching a truly great high. Hallucinations were not prominent, no real visual, oral distortions. Music wasn't impressive. A few smell distortions, and slippery touch, quite pleasant. We both got an effect where vision became pixelated with little colored squares, that form objects when the eyes are closed. Closed-eye visuals were identical to those I had been having recently with marijuana. The exact same recurring patterns. When I'm on the seeds though I don't really pay attention to hallucinations, they just blend into the general feeling. As we came down intensity came in waves, during which reality was dreamlike. We peaked very soon. The first 2 hours were a blur, and returning to baseline was very gradual. The trip probably lasted 7/8 of an hour. I somehow failed to record any of those meaningful conversations with my MD recorder which I had brought for the purpose, which is probably teaching me a lesson to not try and capture the thoughts you have when tripping. Interestingly, we both experienced the same perceptions throughout most of the trip, e.g. time, location, visuals etc., even without communicating, kinda like telepathy. It was a mental trip. Most of the perceptions I had this time are definitely characteristic of all my HBWR trips. Physically, lethargy was not a problem, but I had a constant stomach discomfort, slight nausea, and the taste kept coming back up. My friend, however, didn't have this problem. I think there is some kind of pain reduction, since I've had cuts etc. that I didn't feel during my trips. My lips have felt swollen each time too. Every time I took a hit of amyl it was like waking briefly from the trip and then going back. For once, food was excellent, better than on cannabis, perhaps because we hadn't eaten much, but definitely enhanced. There was a sense of success and satisfaction. I'd decided this was my last seed trip, if only because of the taste, and it was a great end. The sense of learning and understanding was there. I felt like I'd beaten paranoia and felt really confident. I watched a horror movie on TV, and it was more ominous and macabre than usual. It was a bit too involving and didn't want to spoil the good mood, so I decided to get some welcome sleep. Just woke once feeling a bit agitated. Awoke next day feeling fresh and positive. Definitely had to go through a lot of pain before the pleasure, though it was worth it. Overall, very mellow, though on a previous higher dose trip my emotions did overwhelm a bit. Most people won't end up using these regularly.